All right, so in the first chapter, we see how Arjun has asked Krishna, please take my chariot in the middle of the battlefield. I want to see who all have come to fight with me. These are some bodily symptoms of Arjuna when he saw his grandfather, teachers, relatives, and friends on the battlefield. And these were quivering of limbs, drying of mouth, trembling of whole body. His hairs were standing on end. Gandiva bow was slipping from his hand. His skin was burning. Ethical dilemma. So there are, we discussed this in our last class, there are various kinds of dilemmas. There's one which is called moral dilemma, where there are two choices. Either I do this or I do this, but at least we know, the person knows, if I do this, it'll be wrong. And if I do this, it'll be morally correct to do this. But it takes a strong personality, a really strong kind of moral personality to choose the right thing. But in ethical dilemma, a person, where there are two choices, a person is confused whether I should do this or this. There's no right or wrong. If I do this, also seems wrong. If I do this, also seems wrong, or either way. So here we see Arjuna facing ethical dilemma. And one was his, which dharma? Who can answer this? Two kinds of dharma he was confused about.
Kula dharma.
One is Kshatriya dharma and one is Kula dharma. So he's torn between both. Should I be a Kshatriya and fight, or should I do my Kula dharma and express my love and gratitude towards my elderly? So he kept down his bow in the last verse of the first chapter. So Arjun's bow represents his
will
to fight. Perfect. And his putting it aside represents
compassion towards family members.
Yes, and his losing heart, that I cannot fight. And Arjun is called Dhanurdhara. Dhanurdhara means
the wielder of the bow.
Perfect. Carrier of the bow, wielder of the bow. So we also did this. Quickly we'll go through. You might or might not remember if you haven't done a recap. Universal relevance of Bhagavad Gita. Things might be difficult now, but will surely improve in the future. So when we read and understand Bhagavad Gita and try to bring those principles in our life, and these things, these three important things happen. Today, things might be difficult, but they will surely improve. This is, I'll give you the answer for this one, or somebody wants to give. Okay, this is hope. Hope that in the future things will improve. Ability and capacity to do the right thing.
Confidence.
Confidence. Our willingness to persevere to make things happen. Determination. So these three things were lost for Arjuna when he kept down his bow. His hope, he was losing his hope, he was losing his confidence, and his determination went away. So, and towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, after hearing the message, all of these came back. So his hope came back, his confidence and his determination, everything came back. For us also implies the same thing. If we understand the message of the Bhagavad Gita, we might have lost hope, determination, and confidence, but hearing the message that Krishna is trying to give to us, all of these three things come back. These are some saintly qualities of Arjuna. Most of you, all of you, in fact, yeah, most of you have done your homework, and this was one of the questions. What are the reasons that Arjun gave for not wanting to fight? So these are 5. 4 were given in the first chapter. 1 is going to be given now in today's class in the second chapter. So who can tell us all of them? If you remember all of them, unmute.
Compassion. Another
First one is
is
compassion.
compassion. Then there is with whom we will enjoyment.
Perfect. How will I enjoy the kingdom without my
Kingdom.
family and friends?
Third is mm,
Sinful.
yeah, the reactions of the sinful reaction, fear of
Mhm.
sinful reaction.
Yes, yes. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to commit sin. Fourth one.
And
will I
the
enjoy
family
without my
traditions will
relatives?
be destroyed.
Family will be, the society will become degraded when all the men are killed. And the fifth one, which is going to come now, is indecision or confusion, whether I should conquer them or get conquered by them. Gita is neither a book of blank or blank. It gives a call for rising to. The answer, it's neither a book of violence or silence. It calls for rising to transcendence. We've done this in the last class. Maybe we just touched upon it, so we don't remember. Okay, Arjun, the warrior prince. This is a short video that we saw in our last class. Let's start with today's class. The chapter name is Contents of the Gita Summarized, chapter number 2. If you haven't muted, kindly mute because there's always this background noise. When there's time for reflections and answers, you can that time unmute. Okay, so we saw in the first chapter how Arjun is so morose and he's lamenting and he kept down his bow. He's keeping down the bow represents his losing heart and indirectly saying, I shall not fight. Now, some of our acharyas have given the title to this chapter as Contents of the Gita Summarized, given by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Also, Srila Prabhupada gives the same title because there's so many topics that Krishna will talk about in the Bhagavad Gita, like Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and he also touches upon Bhakti Yoga in this chapter. So many topics in the whole Bhagavad Gita, and in second chapter, Krishna has spoken about all of them. So that's why this chapter is called Contents of the Gita Summarized. Let's take an overview of what is going to come. So sections of chapter 2, first section is from 2.1 to 2.10, and we start with that and try to finish it in today's class, where Arjun he expresses his further doubts and he accepts Lord Krishna as his guru. Second section, Krishna speaks about Jnana Yoga or Sankhya Yoga. Third section is where Krishna will speak about Karma Kand or Sakam Karma. And don't worry, we'll talk about all these, the definition of all of these, we'll understand what they mean. Section 4 is Buddhi Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga. Section 5 is Hita Prajna Purush. That's what we'll talk about. Very interesting and very beautiful chapter. We'll dive deep into understanding what all terms Krishna has used, what all they mean. Today's section where Arjun is expressing more doubts, and a beautiful verse 2.7 where there's a shift of relationship and he accepts Krishna as his guru. So all that is coming in today's class, but let's look at this where we have just spoken about the reasons Arjun gave for not fighting. So you can come back to this presentation and write down these important points because 2.11 to 2.30 is where Krishna is giving answer to the first reason that Arjun gave of compassion. I don't want to kill my relatives because he was so compassionate. Kripya Avishta, we'll talk about that also. Because of compassion, he said, I don't want to fight. So first reason, and Krishna answers or refutes Arjun's reason not to fight for compassion in this section, section 2 from 11 to 30. Second reason Arjun gave was enjoyment. How will I enjoy? And Krishna answers that from 31 to 37 in the Karma Kand or Sakam Karma section. The third reason Arjun has given is sin. I don't want to incur sin, which Krishna gives from 38, answer given from 38 to 53 when he speaks about Nishkama Karma Yoga. And then the fourth and the fifth, Krishna will answer duly in the later chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. So let's keep going. The first verse where Sanjay describes Krishna seeing Arjuna lamenting like an ignorant man and Krishna responding. So Krishna is going to begin to speak, but Sanjay is right now relating this. So again, the camera moves closer and further in the, while we're going through the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes it's close, zoomed in on Arjuna when Arjuna is speaking and he's expressing his emotions. But then where there is some action, then it zooms out and Sanjay describes what is happening. For example, in the last chapter, last verse, there was little bit action. What was the action? Who remembers? Last verse of the first chapter, there was some motion, there was some action.
Arjun keeping
Arjuna keeps his bow down.
Arjuna kept his bow down. So Arjuna will not say this, okay, now I'm keeping my bow down. This somebody else will speak. So that is Sanjay. He's relating the action, what is happening. And Arjun, when he speaks about his emotions, his feelings, and his questions, his concerns that come up. So first verse of the second chapter, let's recite it together. Sanjay uvacha tam tatha kripayavishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. Let's have somebody quickly read the translation.
Sanjay said, seeing Arjun full of compassion and very sorrowful, his eyes brimming with tears, Madhusudan Krishna spoke the following words.
Yes, so let's look at this. Sanjay Vacha, Sanjay said, Tam tatha kripaya vishtam. So tam tatha, to that person, who Arjuna. Tam is that person, or who? Arjuna. Tatha kripaya vishta, overcome. Who's overcome by? Kripaya avishta, with weakness caused by compassion. Ashru Purna Kulekshanam. So Ashru is tears, we all know, and Purna is completely, Ikshanam is his eyes. So his eyes were fully filled with Ashru. So Ashru Purna Kulekshanam. Vishidantam Idam Vakyam. Vishidantam, we all know, we've done this before also. Lamentation. He was lamenting. Lamenting to that person who is lamenting, who's full of tears, who is Kripaya Avishtam, who is, due to his weakness of heart, he has this compassion. So these three things, Idam Vakyam. Idam Vakyam is, he then spoke. What? Uvacha Madhusudana. Who spoke? Madhusudana spoke. So, by calling Krishna Madhusudan, now Sanjay is calling Krishna Madhusudan here, right? Because he's relating, he's informing Dhritarashtra that Arjun's doubts will be now killed. So Krishna, his name is Madhusudan because he killed the demon Madhu. And now he's going to kill the doubts which had arisen in the heart of Arjuna. So doubts had overtaken Arjuna in the discharge of his duty, which will be killed by Madhusudan, who has the capacity to kill demons. So demon of doubt will be killed. So Dhritarashtra was happy to hear that Arjun has put down his bow, he's not going to fight. But Sanjay's words, however, dispel his happiness. So framing emotion is Kripaya Avishta. In the first chapter also, 27th verse, the same word came. Kripaya Parayavishto. So similar, because of weakness of heart, there is compassion. And now again, this word has come. Similar, Kripaya Avishto. So Prabhupada says in the purport, because of ignorance of real self, who am I? There is material compassion. There is Kripaya Avishtam. And because of that, there is lamentation, which is Vishidantam. And because of Vishidantam, there are tears, where what we see over here, Ashru Purna Kulekshanam. So this is what Prabhupada has. So what is the root? It is ignorance of the real self. That's why we are complaining. That's why we are so compassionate. We look at other beings in this world as this is mine, he is mine, and we become so compassionate, because of which there is moroseness and there's lamentation, because of which which goes to a height where we start crying, which is tears, which is like the like you can say one has reached the optimum of his emotions, where now he cannot even control them within him, and tears start flowing out. So what to do to take this ignorance of real self away? So compassion for real self can we should understand what is the real self first, and then we should have compassion for the real self by cultivating self-realization. So when we cultivate self-realization, then actually who we are, we're not this body. So that's why the relationships with this body, and if we have compassion for them, that is not the real self. The real self is our part of being part of Krishna, that soul. And to have real compassion for that soul, we need to cultivate self-realization. This is coming in the purport explained by Prabhupada for this verse. So let's keep going. So basically we are, so many of us being devotees of Krishna, we are soft-hearted, we are compassionate. But Prabhupada is telling us you have to direct your self-heartedness to the real, where it is required, not in the material, but in the spiritual. So many of us are already doing so many sevas, like book distribution, like cooking, like serving in the temple by just cleaning, or so many sevas we do. So that is real compassion for the self. When we do something, we do some service, and then we study the scriptures, then we understand what is real compassion. That we see other beings as also suffering in this world. Over here, what is Arjun seeing? He's seeing the suffering of himself when his relatives will die, right? So that is bodily conception. But then if he understands they are also souls, part of Krishna, and I'm doing this as dharma, so that is real compassion. This is what Prabhupada is implying over here. So let's keep going to point 2. Lord Krishna spoke, how have these impurities come upon you? They're not befitting an Aryan. Let's recite the verse first. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam Akirti Karamarjuna. Have somebody read the translation?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting of a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy."
So here, for the first time in the Bhagavad Gita 2.2, Krishna has spoken a complete verse, and he'll again speak later from 2.11 onwards. Let's see what he's saying right now. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, most of the purport, Prabhupada will stress upon the point of Bhagavan. How is Krishna Bhagavan? So kutas tva kashmalamidam. Kutas, from where have these kashmalam is impurities? Where have these impurities come upon you? Vishame samapastitam. At this crucial time, at this crucial moment, anarya jushtam asvargyam. So they're not befitting for somebody who is arya. So anarya, this is anarya, jushtam asvargyam. Asvargam, these will not lead to go to heavenly planets. This will lead to asvargya. not to higher planets, not to Swarga. Akirti Karam Arjuna. And third thing he's saying, they will lead to Akirti. Kirti means fame. So Akirti will mean infamy. So they will lead to infamy. So Anarya, Aswargam, and Akirti. Let's come to the point of how is Krishna Bhagwan? Who can tell us?
Mataji, when I started reading Bhagavad Gita, so there is in the purport of this shloka, there is a paragraph which says the Sanskrit word Bhagwan is explained by the great authority Parashar Muni, the father of Vyasdeva, the supreme personality of Godhead, who possesses all riches, all strength, all pain, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached, but no one can claim that he possesses all the riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it is concluded in Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. He is the primeval Lord or Bhagwan known as Govinda, and he is the supreme causes of all causes. Ishvaraha Param Krishna Satchidanand Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karan Karan.
According to Parashar Muni, a great sage and father of Vyasdev, who compiled the Vedic literature, he gave this verse. According to this verse, there are 6 opulences: beauty, knowledge, strength, wealth, fame, renunciation, and Krishna has them in totality. So in this world also, jivas might have these qualities. There's actually 64 complete qualities in Krishna, and the jivas might have, if they have previous karmas, they might have tinges of these qualities, and which goes to 50 qualities the jiva can have from those 64 qualities. And Lord Vishnu has up to 60, but Krishna has 64. And these 6 opulences in totality only Krishna can have. So beauty, where we see Krishna in his Tribhanga form, and this Rupa Goswami also says, right, if you are so attached to your material opulences, please don't go in Vrindavan on the side of Vamsi Vat. You might see this form of Krishna where you will be so attracted to him, and all your material, attachments will go away. So if you're so attached to material, if you have so many material attachments, don't go to Vamshivat. That's a beautiful verse that Rupa Goswami has spoken. So we see the beauty of Krishna with his beautiful lotus eyes. And there is knowledge, complete knowledge in Krishna, where right now we're understanding the Bhagavad Gita. He spoke in 45 minutes, and Arjun, also so intelligent, he could absorb all the knowledge. But this, also the Vedic knowledge, everything, this material world, we see libraries full of all these, material knowledge, but how much can we put in? It's all data. It is not actually knowledge. Knowledge is where we understand our real self and then apply that in our daily life on basis of that principle. So that is real knowledge, is what Prabhupada says. Krishna is guiding Arjuna, giving him that real knowledge, and through Arjuna, giving to all of us. Vedas also coming from Krishna was given to Lord Brahma. And strength, we've seen strength of Krishna in all these pastimes where he's killed so many demons. And picking up Govardhan Hill on his small pinky. We're so honored to have Krishna Keshav Prabhuji. You're here with us today. We can see you. Thank you so much. I saw Govardhan here on this slide, and I could not but remember you. This was 2 years back when I met him first in India through my god brother. And if you ever go to India, this is a request. to everyone. If you ever go to India, please get in touch with Krishna Keshav Prabhu. He will take you to these places in around Govardhan, which you've never been to before. Not just take you, but he will speak about in his beautiful, he's so realized, such love he has for Giri Govardhan, that he will not just speak about them, you'll feel like you're in that pastime. So I'm really honored we have you here in our class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for being amongst us and giving us your association. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I saw Giri Govardhan here and I remembered you. You're going to wealth in totality. There's nobody in this world who has wealth equal to Krishna's. We cannot even comprehend. The Vaikuntha planets, they are filled with these gems and these jewels, and you can't even imagine. But it is said that Vrindavan, where even a small particle of dust is more precious than all the wealth in all the universes and Vaikuntha planets together. So he is the owner of all these universes. He showed these universes in his mouth when he was a small child. And fame, who can be more famous than Krishna, right? He is, everybody knows he's the Supreme Lord. Mostly everybody knows he's the Supreme Lord. Here in this world, there could be a singer, a sports person, or a movie star, and people go crazy if a person has a little bit fame. But think about Krishna, who has all that fame of being the supreme absolute truth, the cause of all causes. And renunciation, although he has all of these opulences, still he's so renounced, he's willing to become a servant of his devotee, a chariot driver, right? Especially in India, if you say, मैं नौकरी देता हूँ, मेरा chauffeur बन जा. I'm sorry, Kaya Mataji also understands a little bit Hindi. She's lived in India. So if a person says, okay, become my driver, I'll give you some salary, it's a very low grade job, right? Considered very low grade. But here, Krishna is willing, without any salary, he's willing to be the chauffeur of his devotees. That's renunciation. Also, he's created all these universes, but he's not attached. We've created one or two or few kids, and we are so attached to them. So Krishna is, he shows his renunciation through his detachment, but he's very attached to his devotees also. That verse also comes in the Bhagavad Gita. Just touching upon the fact right now, action is not befitting Arjuna in three ways. So, Anarya Jushtam, who are you? You are Arya. And what you're doing, what you're thinking doesn't befit you. It is Anarya. So, this is who you are. And Aswargam, what you'll get in the future, you will not get Swarga. And Akirtikaram, what you'll get in this life will be infamy. So, Krishna speaks. Yes, Kaya Mataji.
And if it's appropriate, Mataji, for me to save my questions for later, I can write them down. But I do have a question about this last point that Krishna makes. So Hare Krishna, is it okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So since we are, we know that we need to move away from false ego, I wonder why infamy is a problem, why it's a problem. Why should we be worried about fame if we are to move away from false ego?
Okay, that's a good question. Right now, like we spoke about how Arjuna is in the bodily conception right now. He's not thinking, the compassion he has for his relatives is also bodily. So right now, it is, we haven't come to the point where he's realized, okay, he's a soul, he shouldn't be egoistic, he should not have pride. So right now, because his thinking is like that, Krishna is also speaking at his level right now. So it'll be infamy for you if you run away. Also, him being a Kshatriya, Krishna is stressing on the point that you cannot leave your duty as a Kshatriya. So Kshatriya, if he leaves the battle, it is considered not out of compassion, but out of being coward. He's a coward and he ran away. So
that helps. Thank you very much. I see that he must follow Dharma.
Yes. Krishna tells Arjuna that his many good arguments are, so this we just spoke about this, anarajustam, not befitting an Arya. They are a swargam, not for those desiring to go to Swargaloka. Also, we as devotees don't want to go to Swargaloka, right? But right now he is at the level where Arjuna is thinking. For Kshatriyas, most Kshatriyas are not into devotion, they're into fighting and doing karma kand. We'll come to that section. Karma kand is doing your duty and getting the results. So for a Kshatriya to die on a to do his duty of fighting and then die on the battlefield, they go to heavenly planets. They attain Swargalok. So for now, Arjun is, because he's at that level, Krishna is speaking at his level. So you will not attain heavenly planets. If somebody asks you, tells you, Kaya Mataji, you will not attain heavenly planets, you'll be like, okay, yeah, that's good, right? Because we don't want heavenly planets. But right now, he's at that level. So Krishna is speaking at his level. Then Akirti Karam Arjuna, it will bring infamy. In other words, Arjuna will become infamous in the present and then not be awarded residence in the higher planets at death. So therefore, Krishna does not approve of his compassion. So definition of who is an Arya? He's a civilized man, one who knows the value of life. It is also, we've seen Aryan race, right? Civilization based on spiritual realization. So, and who are non-Aryans? They do not know the aim of life, what is liberation from material bondage, and captivated by external features of the material. So, those who know the value of life, it can be a state of consciousness that instills in people these higher values. And the Bhagavad Gita, even if we are not Aryans, but it'll infuse in us the timeless spiritual values that bring depth and meaning to human life, that enable us to act honorably even amidst distracting, tempting, and testing situations. So this is what we have so many challenges and temptations and problems that we face in our everyday life. But Bhagavad Gita gives us those spiritual values to deal with them, to bring out the depth in this human life, so we can make the right choices, right decisions. So let's keep going to point 3. I'm going to read from my book. I will recite from my book. Klebhyam masmagama parthanai tatvai upapadyate shudram hridaya dorbalyam tyaktvotishtva parantapa. Somebody can unmute and read. Kindly go ahead.
Partha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such pretty weakness of the heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Hare
Krishna. Klebhyam mas magama partha. Do not yield to klebhya is impotence due to cowardliness. So klebhyam mas magama partha. Do not yield to this impotence. Naita tvai upapadyate. This does not befit you. Shudram hridaya dorbalyam. This is this so-called magnanimity that you're showing towards your relatives. It is Shudram Hridaya. It is the heart of a Shudra, and it is Dorbalyam. This is petty weakness of heart. Tyaktva tishtva parantapa. Give it up and uttishta, rise or stand up. O parantapa. Parantapa means O chastiser of enemies, or scorcher of enemies. So from 2.2, Krishna has started condemning Arjuna with these words. This shows that you're non-Aryan. This implies impurities. Klebhyam, now he says, implies impotence. And then Hridaya Dorbalyam, this implies weakness of heart. So finer sentiments like compassion, although noble, are worthless if applied in an ignorant way. So Krishna is condemning Arjuna right now. It's like a verbal slap. Our acharyas tell us, if you slap somebody verbally, for example, if You have a student in your class who's very intelligent. He's the topper, and he's standing and speaking something, and the teacher says, "You're a fool." Everybody knows that this student is really intelligent, and calling that student a fool is like a verbal slap. This is what Krishna is doing. He's giving a verbal slap. He's trying to shake him up and make him stand up and fight. So right now, Arjun has not asked for any instructions from Krishna. Right now, he has shown his decision that he does not want to fight. Where did he show his decision? He didn't say it, but he showed it. In the last chapter.
By keeping his Gandiv down.
Yeah, when he kept his Gandiva bow down, that implied, that showed he will not fight. So by him doing that and not asking Krishna, what should I do? He hasn't asked yet. Krishna is giving like a pep talk. He's not giving his knowledge, the knowledge, he's not giving any instructions right now. It is just a pep talk that, come on, get up. What you're saying and what you're thinking does not befit you. This is for non-Aryans. This shows you have impurities in your heart. You're acting like an impotent. Right? All of these things, this is like shaking him up and making him. Friends also do this, right? Two friends sitting down, one says, this happened and I'm so sad. And the other friends are, come on, this is just something so small. Get up. It's okay. Like that. That is how, like a friend, Krishna is talking now with Arjuna. So klebhyam is impotence, which brings back so many memories. Right? He had gone to the heavenly planets, Arjuna, and there he was cursed to become impotent, a eunuch by Urvashi. So some of us might know that story that has come before. And because he was cursed, he used that curse for that 1 year when he was in Agyatwas, when he was in the kingdom of Virat and like a dance teacher. So it is very degrading for a Kshatriya who's so strong, who's so skillful, like Arjuna, right? So masculine. For him to be called impotent, those memories are coming back in his mind. And it's like Krishna saying, have you really become impotent? So that time, in that 1 year, he was not acting because he was cursed. He really became a eunuch. And which was to his credit because he had to live in incognito. He had to be hidden. So that's why it was very useful for him. But right now, he's a Kshatriya. He's not a eunuch anymore. So to be called impotent is like a really very degrading for Arjuna. So using all these strong words, these are heavy words, Krishna is trying to make him stand up. We just discussed all of this. You can look at the notes later. Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam, so which is petty weakness of heart, inability to sustain emotional shock. Emotional shock involved in the execution of one's duty. So when somebody, we might be really strong, but when something really shaking happens, like that weakness of heart comes up, that we're not able to decide what is the right thing to do. So here, Krishna is telling you, showing that weakness of heart. You are not a Shudra, you are a Kshatriya. So Brahmana, we're comparing all of these. Right now, he's a Shudra. Sorry, he's a Kshatriya. So Krishna is comparing him to a Shudra. Shudra Hridaya Daurbalyam. You're not acting like a Kshatriya, you're acting like a Shudra. So who's a Brahman? Brahma Janeti iti Brahmana, one who knows Brahman or spiritual truth. That's the definition of Brahman. And Shudra, his definition is Shucha Dravati, one who melts in grief or sorrow is a Shudra. So Brahman, he uses his spiritual intelligence when there is any problem. To solve any problem, a Brahman uses spiritual intelligence. A Kshatriya uses his power to solve problems. A Vaishya uses money to solve problems. A Shudra just laments. He's not able to solve a problem because there's weakness of heart. 2.4, Arjun said, how can I counterattack Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? So Krishna has spoken all these strong words, and Arjuna wants to counter his argument by saying, you're saying I am all this, I am being impotent, I have a weakness of heart. But Krishna, it is not weakness of heart, it is due to me being respectable and showing love to my relatives. It is not my weakness of heart. So let's see what Arjuna says. Arjuna uvacha katham bhishmam aham sankhe dronam cha madhusudana ishubhi pratiyotsyami puja ravari sudana. That's somebody.
Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhe. That in this battle, how can I fight with Bhishma? Katham, how can I fight Bhishma? Aham is me. In this battle, in this battlefield, Dronamcha and Dronacharya, O Madhusudan, how can I in this battle fight or counterattack Bhishma and Drona? Because why? Because they're Ishubhi Pratiyotsami. How can I shoot arrows? Because they are Puja Ravari Sudana. They are worthy of my worship. Puja. They're not, you're asking me to offer them arrows, but they are worthy of my offering them prayers. So, Ishubi Pratiyottam, Ishubi is arrows. You're asking me to offer them arrows. I cannot do that. I want to offer them prayers because they are my seniors. They are my lovable relatives. So, here, Arjuna is using two words for Krishna, Madhusudana and Arisudana. Last. So, we always say that the 4 lines in a verse are A, B, C, D. So in B and in D, Arjun has used Madhusudana and Arisudana. So what does that mean? So here we just spoke about this. They're worshipable. They're not. Prabhupada says in the purport that our seniors should not be offered even verbal fight, leave alone anything physical. Even verbally, we should not counterattack. If they're saying something, we should be respectable and listen to them. So even if they're sometimes harsh in behavior, they should not be harshly treated. But here it is physical, right? So would Krishna ever attack his own grandfather Ugrasen or his teacher Sandipani Muni? This is what it implies when Arjun says, oh, Arisudan means killer of enemies. You, O Krishna, you are killer of enemies. You will not kill. You've never killed your own relatives like Ugrasen, who are worshipable, or Sandipani Muni, who's your acharya, who's your teacher. So, and Madhusudan is killer of Madhu demons. So you kill demons, you don't kill your relatives. And here, it's a rhetorical language. Anybody knows what is rhetorical?
It's more like you already know the answer, but you still state the question in a sense of reinforcing the value of the answer. So it's not
correct. Correct. Thank you. So the answer is applied in the question itself. So for example, what is the point of crying when the cat has drunk all the milk? So there is no point in crying. So the answer is implied, right? How can I kill my own relatives in this battlefield? Meaning, I cannot kill my own relatives in the battlefield. So it is a rhetoric. He's not asking Krishna, okay, tell me how to kill them. Should I shoot an arrow hidden from somewhere so that it doesn't know that I'm shooting it on him? Not like that. It's rhetorical. The answer is implied. I cannot do it. Krishna's question was, when Krishna spoke previously in 2.2 and 3, that was also rhetorical. You're acting as if you're impotent, right? From where have these impurities come upon you? He's not asking him, okay, have they come from north or west or south? Where are they coming upon you? Not like that. It's rhetorical. Because you're a Kshatriya, these cannot come upon you. These impurities cannot come upon you. So these are rhetorical. 2.5, beautiful verse. There's a shift in the meter also because now it shows that Arjun is going deeper in his emotions. So from the four-liner, these are longer. These verses are longer and they're also recited in a different meter. So we can all recite it together. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan Shreyo bhoktum bhaiksham api haloke Hatvarta kamamstu guru nihaiva Gunji abogan rudira pradigdan. Have somebody read the translation?
It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood.
Look at the verse. Right here, Guru Nahatva hi Mahanubhava. These are Mahanubhavas. These are great souls. These are Guru, my Gurus. So, my superiors, and certainly not worthy of them being killed. Shreyo bhoktum bhaiksham apiha lok. It is better to live in this world by begging. Bhaiksham is begging, and bhoktum is to enjoy. It's if you heard another thing that we say in English, it's a oxymoronic juxtaposition of words where two words are combined together, but they mean exactly opposite. So bhoktum bhaksham, I will enjoy by begging. Who can enjoy by begging, right? Especially for a Kshatriya to beg, it's very degrading, it's mortifying. So he's saying it's better. Shreya again has come. It has come before also. It will come again also. So we'll see, we'll look at that. Shreya bhukto, it is better for me to enjoy in this apiha loke, in this loke, by begging. Hatvartha kamam stuguruni ehaiva. Although they are desiring, their kama is to gain in this material, to gain this kingdom. Although they are desiring this wealth and they are willing to hatva artha, for artha they are willing to hatva, which is killing. So for material benefits, they are willing to kill, right? Even if our gurus are willing to do that, bhunji abogan rudira pradigdan, if we enjoy this enjoyable, if we do this, we'll be tainted in blood. So they are not understanding, but I understand that this is sinful. That I don't want to enjoy this earthly benefit, these enjoyments. I don't want to indulge in those if I have to kill my own relatives. So it is better to live in this world by begging than than to live at the cost of lives of great souls who are my teachers. They are superiors. They are Mahanubhavan. So although our acharyas tell, Srila Prabhupada also stresses on the point that Guru who is not doing his dharma of being the rightful Guru can be abandoned. There is a pastime in our Bhagavatam where somebody who's also a Mahajan, he abandoned his Guru. Anybody remembers? Who abandoned Bali Maharaj. He abandoned his Guru because he was not giving him the supreme instruction. He was saying not to follow Krishna's instruction. So, and give him or surrender unto him completely. That's why he abandoned him. So here we see these gurus who Arjuna is calling as gurus. Bhishma Pitama, grandfather, also guru because he's learned so much from him also. And Dronacharya, his guru, his martial guru, his spiritual guru was Dhaumya, I think. Dhaumya, who was their priest also. They had taught them spiritual culture. But Dronacharya was martial guru. But still he was guru because because of him, they learned all the martial skills. So because they are my gurus, but gurus can be abandoned because they were not rightful. In the Sabha where Draupadi, her Chirharan was done, right? It was not rightful and they were quiet at that time. So they were not on the side of Dharma. That's why they could have been abandoned. They can be abandoned right now. But still he's calling them Guru because of attachment. because of, he's still calling them Mahanubhavan. These are great souls. So Dharma Shastra and Artha Shastra. Artha Shastra, which is rules of politics and sociology, says that killing of such aggressors has more weightage, but sorry. Arjuna is giving more weightage to Dharma Shastra, which is religious principle, versus versus Artha Shastra. So where in Dharma Shastra, in religious principles, it is recommended that forgiveness because of the unique kind of aggressors. Here, the unique kind of aggressors are his seniors and relatives. They can be forgiven. So he's giving more weightage to Dharma Shastra than to the Shastra, where it is recommended to kill such aggressors. The scriptural codes, you can read these. We've just discussed it. One should reject Guru who's proud, does not know proper behavior, who becomes engaged in sinful life. Which is coming from the Mahabharata. Why Arjun considered them not to be rejected, even though Bhishma and Drona show improper behavior and poised to kill Pandava, they are willing to kill them because they are great souls. This is what Arjun is saying. Who should not be accepted as spiritual authority? One who is not spiritual and is demanding respect. In my own family, my own relatives I know, one of my mom's side, they have a guru who, it was so hilarious. My cousins had come here to US to visit from India, and this was like 4 years back. And one of my cousins said, okay, I want to go to this particular, I think it was CVS, to find these. I have a list of things. I said, okay, I'll help you. I'll come with you. And that list of things had this perfume, this lotion, this shampoo. I said, do you really need all of these? He said, no, this is for my guru in India. He's asked for these. It was so hilarious. I mean, I couldn't control but laugh. Such attachment of a guru asking for material benefits. So we can reject. Who should not be accepted as spiritual authority? Who is not spiritual and is demanding respect, who has good quality, one who has good qualities and gives some good mundane advice, but is not a serious spiritualist. One who has a spiritual teacher in good standing, but has later slipped. So we can reject such gurus. So 2.6, nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. So this is the fifth reason which comes in 2.6, where there is confusion and there is indecision. So recite the verse. Nachaitad vidmam kataram no gariyo yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyu yan eva hatva najajivishamas devash Devasthita Pramukhe Dharta Rashtraha. Have somebody read the translation?
Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live, yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Naichetad vidmam kataran no gariyo. I do not know what is better for us. Yadva jayema yadi va no jayeyu. So conquering them, va jayema, yadi va no jayeyu. So should we conquer them or we get conquered by them? Yan eva hatva na jijivishamas. Those who are, by killing them, we would not want to live. After killing them, we ourselves would not want to live. Devasthita Pramukhe Dhartarashtran. So Dhartarashtran again and again has come. Arjun is remembering Dhritarashtra again and again. That although he doesn't have that much attachment to Duryodhan and to his brothers because of that enmity and enviousness from Duryodhan's side. But still, they are sons of Dhritarashtra, who is their uncle. So there is attachment with his uncle, who, after their own father Pandu had died, Dhritarashtra had shown affection. just like, his own sons, he had taken care of them. So he's saying if we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they're now standing before us on the battlefield. So there is confusion. I don't want to kill them because I see them as sons of my uncle. And there's attachment, there's love for his uncle, right? But still he sees all of them standing there ready to kill him. This is a small example within a family or with friends when we have a fight. Maybe we have a fight with our brother or sister or our husband or wife, or with our some argument with our parents. And we are showing that love towards them, and we are, in our heart, we have all that love, but there's some tension due to that, circumstance. And we, because of that love for them, we have a little, corner in our heart where we are soft. So we don't want to be so rude, but we see the other person using such harsh words and saying such things which are like arrows in our heart. So I am restricting myself. I don't want to be so rude. I don't want to be so what do you call it? Violent in my words, but this other person is using all these words, is ready to, blemish this relationship which I hold so dear. So that creates so much anxiety in one person's heart and mind, right? We've all been through these situations. So here, Arjun is going through a similar situation. In our daily life, it is not a challenge where it's just some argument or some, little petty problem. We don't have to kill, but here Arjun has to kill, right? So for him, it is a major seeing his relatives. I don't want to kill them, but they're ready to kill me. So now he's really confused and he is indecision whether we should kill them or conquer them or get conquered by them. So Arjun is confused. Should I dutifully fight and risk unnecessary violence? Or should I refrain and live by begging? Even living by, he said it, I can enjoy by begging, but for a Kshatriya to live by begging is very, very mortifying. It's very degrading for a Kshatriya. So you can read this later. We've just discussed this. And this is for us to understand in a lose-lose situation, the way to win is by rising. In any situation we're going through, the small situations that we just spoke about, practically when we have a fight with our loved ones, our relatives or our friends, what is the best solution? We should rise our consciousness. That is the best thing to do. So in a lose-lose situation, whether I do this or not do this, still I am at the losing end. What can we do? Rising to a higher level of consciousness where based on higher considerations, we make decisions. Beautiful verse. There is a shift in relationship here from being friends, intimate friends, to being disciple and guru. This is one of the verses which we'll also try to memorize. I was thinking 2.5 also, you don't have to, but this is the one we will try and memorize. 2.7. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhavaha ichhami tvam dharma samudha yakshreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. Here Arjun is taking shelter of Krishna. He's saying Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava, due to miserly weakness. So again, Kripana, I'm being Kripana. This is weakness of my heart. Before, Krishna said in 2.2 and 2.3, this is weakness of heart, Arjuna. Today we discussed that in our class. But Arjuna in 2.5 said, this is not weakness of heart. How can I counterattack my own relatives? Right? These are higher principles. I am compassionate because these are Mahanubhavas. But now he's accepting, yes, this is weakness of my heart. So Karpanya dosha, this is a dosha. And I am afflicted by it. Prichami, I'm asking you now. Prichami Tvam, Dharma Sammudha Cheta, what is about my duty? I'm confused. Yat Shreyasyan Nishchitan Ruhitam. Again, Shreya. Shreya has come here. What is the best thing for me to do? Yat Shreyasyan Nishchitam Bruhitam me. Nishchitam. Tell me certainly what is the right thing for me to do. This is not any friendly conversation right now. Kindly unmute. Mute if you have unmuted yourself. Prichami tvam dharma samudha cheta yat shreyasyan nishitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham. I am your shishya, I am your disciple. Surrender unto you. Tvam prapannam. I am a soul surrendered unto you. So this verse makes a significant shift in relationship. Arjun said, I'm confused about my duty. I'm your disciple. Please instruct me. This perplexity is nature's way. At every step, there is going to be perplexity without or wanting them or not wanting them. Just like forest fire, nobody wants it, but it does come. So therefore, we need a guru. This is what is coming in the purport. Sridhar Swami says, when one's mind is perplexed regarding duty and responsibility, one should definitely take direction from higher authority. And Vedic literatures also advise the same. Later in the 4th chapter, 34th verse, there's a beautiful verse that will come, which Krishna says, look for a guru. Anybody remember or knows that verse? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. That will come in the 4th chapter. Similar meaning or depth where what Krishna is expecting from a disciple, what he should be doing is what Arjuna is expressing over here in a perfect disciple. So tadvidhi pranipatena, you should fall down. Pranipat is fall down and surrender or search. And here he's saying shishyasteham. He's putting himself in that subordinate position to a guru. Then he says, Shadimam tvam prapannam, please instruct me. And there Krishna says, Pariprashnena, ask from a guru. So similar, ask questions. Here he's saying, please instruct me. There Krishna will say, Sevaya, you should serve that great soul. Here he's saying, Prapannam, I'm ready, I'm surrendering unto you. So very similar depth in what a guru expects and what a perfect disciple should be. That's what he's expressing. So you can read all of this. I'll just quickly go through. Every living being renders service to someone, but such service in this world is terminated at the time of death. So he's saying, Prapannam, and I'm surrendered, I want to follow your instructions. But here in this material world, Prabhupada compares, we render service to so many people, but all of that is terminated when we leave this world. And relationships and love in this material world are temporary. And dharma, he's asking what is dharma? Dharma of any substance is in its innate nature, which is dharma of the soul over here. What is my duty is to serve God with unconditional love. This is what the climax is going to be, but the whole journey is what we're trying to understand right now, studying Bhagavad Gita. God is eternal, soul is eternal, therefore loving relationship between the two is also eternal. That eternal love and service to God is called Sanatana Dharma. Arjun is asking, what is my dharma? Prabhupada is telling us what is real dharma. It is Sanatana Dharma. It is dharma of the soul. Just as a man suffering for amnesia forgets his parents and relatives, similarly we have forgotten our love and service to God, and that is what Krishna is trying to revive through the Bhagavad Gita. These are temporary relationships. Although Arjun's reasoning was faulty, throughout first chapter, he's given his reasons why he doesn't want to fight, and all of them were faulty. Still, his capacity for reasoning was worthy and makes him capable of understanding spiritual message. Anytime somebody opens their mouth is where their real capacity or their, how much what consciousness they're at comes out. The way they ask questions, the way they reflect, the way it shows the depth of their understanding, and what they're asking shows the nature of their search at that moment of life. So, Arjun's great personal maturity is shown here by his self-perception, his self-reflection, and self-criticism. He understands there is weakness of heart, he's surrendering, he's reflecting on it, and then he's criticizing himself. This is Hridaya Daurbalyam, and then he surrenders to Krishna. For us also, it's really important to have these three in life. Okay, Prabhupada says in the purport, by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happen without our desire. This has come without Arjun's desire was not to get perplexed. That's why he came on the battlefield. He wanted to fight. But this was a situation created. He was bewildered by the potency of Krishna so that he could speak the Bhagavad Gita. So for us, these perplexed, Prabhupada is saying these challenges can come anytime in our life. What we need to do is approach Guru Sadhu Shastra. 2.8 Nahi prapashyami mama punutyad yachokam uttoshanam indriyanam apapya bhumav asapatnam riddham rajam suranam apichadipatyam. Quickly read, I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. Another symptom he is telling now, that this is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So he's saying, Nahi prapashyami mama punutyad. I don't see any means to drive away what? Yat shokam uchoshanam indriyanam. This grief which is drying up my senses. And avapya bhoma asapatnam riddham, this bhumi, even if we achieve, which is without any rivals, still Rajyam Suranam apichadipatyam, kingdom with supremacy like that of the Suras or the Devatas. Even if I get kingdom like that, this grief that I'm going through is not going to be driven away. For us also, we can have all these possessions in life, so many assets, but if there is grief within the heart, it cannot be driven away by all these assets that we accumulate. This is what Arjuna is expressing. So this is like an inner fire which is burning away and he's drying his senses. So he cannot, there cannot be any motion if everything dries up, right? So this is what he's implying, that I cannot fight. That motion of fighting I cannot do because it feels like it's drying up my senses. And read all of this. Prabhupada says the problem of material existence, birth, old age, disease, and death cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development. We just discussed that. In many parts of the world, there are states which are replete with all facilities of life, which are full of wealth, economically developed, yet the problems of material existence are still present. I would say even growing and growing, depression, anxiety, even for those who have everything in life. Suicide, right? These rates are going up, even if people have all material accumulations. All that is on the level of emotion and on the mental level. Prabhupada says, although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of the principles of religion and moral codes, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of spiritual master, Lord Sri Krishna. So Arjuna was seeking spiritual solution to material problem, which is the best thing we can do. My own Guru Maharaj, he says that if you have a material problem and you want to solve it with another material solution, you might get into a greater material problem. So for any material problem, it has to be solved by us. It has to have a spiritual solution, which is deeper and fuller understanding of life. All emotional issues arise from disconnection of our emotions with Krishna, but connection with Krishna brings emotional fulfillment and enrichment. It drives away inner emptiness. I'll be sharing the recording. I know you're writing notes and it might be incomplete. So when I share, you can go through and complete your notes at that time. We still have 2 verses to go, 9 and 10. Govinda, I shall not fight, he says. So, Evam Utva Rishikesham Gudakesha Parantapa Nayotsaiti Govindam Utva Tushnim Babhuvaha. Thus speaking unto Rishikesha, Gudakesha Parantapa. So, 2 names of Arjun, Gudakesha and Parantapa. This is Sanjay speaking. Sanjay is calling Krishna Rishikesha and Govinda, 2 names of Krishna in A and C, and 2 names of Arjuna in B itself, right? 2.9b, Gudakesha and Parantapa. Also, he's used the word Uktva twice. So, Evam Uktva Rishikesham and Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. So, let's understand. Evam Uktva Rishikesham, thus speaking unto Rishikesha. Who's speaking? Just now, Arjun spoke. So thus speaking, thus after speaking to who? Rishikesham, Gudakesha Parantapa. Who spoke? Gudakesha and Parantapa. Na Yotsaiti Govinda, O Krishna, I shall not fight. Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. After saying this, he became silent. So earlier, 1.46, he kept down his bow, indicating he does not want to fight. Here he is specifying he will not fight. So our acharyas tell us that there Krishna did not start to instruct because he just kept down his bow. He said, I don't want to fight, but he didn't ask for Krishna's advice. Here he's still saying, I don't want to fight, giving his decision, but he has asked Krishna to give him, instruct him and tell him what his duty is. So the difference between that, not fighting by indication of putting down the bow, and the difference now by saying I don't want to fight is that there he specified that his decision, I don't want to fight. Here he said it, but he's asking Krishna, till the time you remove my confusion, I shall not fight. You understand? There I shall not fight, and he kept down the bow, not asking any suggestion or advice. Here I shall not fight, but till when? Till the time you instruct me and you give your instructions and you guide me. Till that time, I will not fight unless I understand what is the right thing to do, whether to fight or not to fight. That's the difference. So Rishikesha, Krishna will make Arjuna manifest intelligence to fight because he's the master of senses. Gudakesha and Parantapa. Gudakesha is, he'll make Krishna accept his dharma to fight. Sorry, that's Govinda. Govinda is the protector of cows and of senses also. He gives pleasure. So he'll give pleasure to Arjuna by him understanding his dharma and making him fight. And then Gudakesha and Parantapa. Gudakesha is, he will be able to overcome his ignorance. Gudakesha means, right, the one who's overcome sleep and ignorance. So he will be able to overcome his ignorance after hearing Krishna's instructions and Krishna's message. And Parantapa, he'll be able to subdue his enemies, which is right now, his enemies are right in front of him are his grief and his moroseness. So that will be subdued. He'll be, Parantapa means that he'll be able to subdue and overcome that grief and moroseness. That's why Sanjay is saying Gudakesha and Parantapa. So Upna Tushnim, then he fell silent. He fell silent. After that, he's waiting for Krishna to speak. So let's come to the 10th. just understood these meanings. You can look at those later. We just spoke about all of this also. 2.10, Krishna smiling in the midst of both the armies spoke following words. And our acharyas tell us, if you go to your friend and say, okay, I'm so helpless and there is some weakness I'm, experiencing, and there's cries, crying, shivering and trembling, and your friend starts smiling. So you will feel so hurt, right? You're showing your emotions, and your friend, instead of responding, being compassionate, is smiling. So our acharyas tell us why Krishna smiled. Did he smile or not? Whether he smiled or not, we'll understand what happens. Tam uvacha rishikesha prahasan eva bharata senayorubhayor madhye vishidantam idam vachaha. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Tam uvacha Rishikesha, at that time unto that person. So Rishikesha and he spoke. So aha, A-H comes, which is the person who is speaking. And if A and M comes, that is the object, or that is the person to whom it has been spoken. So Tam uvacha Rishikesha means Rishikesha will be speaking now. Then Krishna starts to speak. Prahasan eva bharata, as if smiling. Senayor ubhayor madhye. This came before also. Which verse did this come? Senayor ubhayor madhye.
Places chariot between the two armies.
Yes, please place my chariot. So Arjun had said that. But here, Sanjay is relating that at that time, Rishikesh, as if smiling, in the middle of both armies, Vishidantam idam vacha. To Vishidantam again. Vishidan is lamenting. He spoke to who? To the person who's lamenting. Idam vacha. He spoke the following words. So following words will start from the 11th verse, where Krishna at a stretch will speak now. In the next class, we'll see. So purport, Prabhupada says, Krishna starts speaking. Sanjay reports that Krishna, smiling in the midst of both armies, began to speak. Krishna accepts the role as per devotee's desire. So devotee desired before, right, that please take my chariot in the middle of the battlefield. There also Krishna was following his instructions. As a friend, he did it. But here, he's asking as a guru, please instruct me. So because there is the shift of relationship, Krishna is as if smiling because now he can speak the Bhagavad Gita and drive away his moroseness, his grief, and his lamentation. And through Arjuna, he can help all of this Brahman, all of this world also, all of us jivas. So that's why there's this smile that he can now benefit. For example, you go to a doctor. Doctor is your friend, right? And you tell him, this pain is not going away. It is such a, like the pain is so much that I might even die with that pain. And the doctor who's your friend starts to smile, and you will feel, come on, I'm suffering, and he's smiling. Why is the doctor smiling? Because now you've come to me, I know how to treat this, and I will make it go away. So as if smiling, Krishna is smiling because he will take away the grief. Now you've taken shelter. Before you were giving you all your reason, you even kept down your bow. I don't want to. So like a patient, I know what's happening to me. I can take care. I can take these supplements. Talking to a doctor, right? I know what my problem is. I will take care. So that time, the doctor who's a friend will think, come on, ask me. I know. I'm a professional. I can relieve you of this pain. So that is what Arjun did now. And Krishna is smiling that now I can relieve him. The talks of Bhagavad Gita are not for any particular person, society, or community, but they are for all. And friends or enemies are equally entitled to hear them. Rishikesha was previously controlled by the words of Arjuna out of love for him. And now Rishikesh becomes the controller of Arjun's mind, again out of love for the benefit of Arjuna and all of us. So 1.24 also There is the word Rishikesha that comes because Arjuna is asking, Senayor Ubhayor Madre. There also he says Rishikesha. Here Sanjay is saying Rishikesha because he becomes the controller of Arjun's mind. Again, out of love. There was also out of love that he brought the chariot in the middle, controlled by the words of Arjuna. Here also out of love, now controlling Arjun's mind, but again for his benefit. And we come to our activities. Oh my gosh, I had to go so fast. It's just, we can go on and on understanding each verse so nicely, but because it's a course, we have to finish in time. There are a set of verses I have to finish in the class, so I'm really sorry if you think I'm